welcome to my channel. Today's recipe is dedicated, and I'm making this in honor of my father, Alfonso. He recently passed away. He was 95 years old, had a very happy long life, and my mother recently passed away as well about 2 months ago, and I think he really missed her so much that he needed to go be with her. Anyway, those of you that don't know my background, I grew up in the restaurant business. My parents had a Mexican restaurant for a number of years, and we made lots of delicious Mexican food, some of which I share on this site, somewhat modified, but definitely tasty stuff. Anyway, cheese enchiladas were one of my dad's favorite Mexican dishes, and that's why I'm making it today. I did make this about 8 years ago, my very first video on YouTube, and I'll leave a link for it down in the description of the video, and you can check it out and you can see how far we've come with making videos here on YouTube. So I'm Rockin' Robin, and I'm going to show you how to make the best tasting enchiladas, especially the ones like my dad loved, right after this. So our ingredients for our cheese enchiladas is pretty simple, and this is, like I said, a very quick and easy recipe to put together. So I've got a video for you on how to make enchilada sauce. So I have some of that already prepared. Go over to that video. I'll leave links down in the description, and you can find the video and make this. It takes maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes. It's very quick. So you need some enchilada sauce. We'll need some corn tortillas. I've got some finely diced yellow onion. And here we have some mild cheddar cheese that we've grated up, and we'll need some oil. Now, in this video, I'm using a little healthier version of oil. I'm using extra light olive oil. And the reason I'm using that is just because olive oil is a better oil to use. I'm using the extra light because it has a very light olive oil taste to it, and it doesn't interfere with our Mexican recipe. So I want to show you my setup here. I've got my oil in a frying pan here over medium heat. I basically want the temperature of the oil to be about 350 degrees. It looks like it's shimmering right now, so it's hot enough probably. Back here I've got my enchilada sauce. Make this ahead of time if you want. Have it, pull it out of the refrigerator, put it in a pan and heat it up so that it's nice and warm. It'll make assembling your enchiladas much, much easier, and you want to do that. Over here I have a baking sheet lined with foil just for easy cleanup. You need a pair of tongs. I've got my cheese, grated cheese back here along with my onions. And then over here I have a nice little, just damp, clean towel to wipe my hands because I'm going to be assembling these with my hands and they're going to get dirty. Corn tortillas are here, and then this is my dish that I'm going to put my enchiladas into, and then it goes into the oven, so you want an oven-safe dish there. So when you make your enchiladas, in order to get the best flavor in them, you're going to want to make sure you dip them into hot oil like I'm going to show you today, right? That is where you get all the flavor. But you want to make sure that oil is nice and hot, like 350 degrees. So when you put that tortilla in, it immediately starts to bubble up a lot. And it's just going in for like 2 seconds. That's it. But it gives it such a much better flavor. It's just makes all the difference in the world. So make sure you do that. Don't leave that out because some people do and they're missing out. Okay, so here's how we make our enchiladas. I've got 2 corn tortillas here, and I'm going to place them into the oil, and hopefully that oil will bubble up like that. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to drain some of that oil off, and I'm going to dip it into my sauce. And sometimes your tortillas will tear. Not to worry, it's not the end of the world. Okay. So I'll place that on my tray, let that cool for a minute because it's super hot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now, let these cool just a minute, and then load up with some cheese, because these are going to melt as they get hot and they're going to flatten out. So put a fair amount of cheese in there, add a sprinkle of onion. That makes it taste wonderful. That's how my dad loved it. And then we're going to roll them over. Now see how I'm folding that over? Now when you go to pick it up, grab the seam right on the bottom so it doesn't open up, and then we're going to put our fingers on the outside of it so that we don't lose any when we move it to our dish. So when we go to put the sauce on, I want to just show you a little detail. I've got my enchiladas here, and you see how I've got them facing in this direction because that's how I'm going to pour the sauce on. It's just a little detail, but it just makes it easier. I start at the front and I go back and I just pour it on. It's just easier in this position as opposed to this position. And you want to cover the whole thing. I got my oven preheating to about 400 degrees, 425, whatever works for you. These are gonna flatten out a little bit as they heat up. And they've gotta be hot. My dad always said all the time, he always said it's gotta be hot to be good. So we're gonna make sure that this sauce is bubbling, that cheese is really melted. It's gonna take a little bit to melt the cheese inside, but we wanna make sure it's hot or it's just not gonna be good. All right, then I put on a little onion on top, and in the oven it goes. And it'll probably take, 10 minutes or so, maybe 8 to 10, something like that. All right, you see that bubble going on? You see how the enchiladas have sort of flattened out a bit, but they're hot. You see those bubbles? It's gotta be hot to be good, guys. That's what you're looking for. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed my cheese enchiladas dedicated to my dad. Try this recipe. It doesn't take very long to make. You saw how quick it is. It's easy and it's super delicious. And let me know down in the comments what your experience is. I'd love to hear about it, okay? And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'd love to have you. Click the subscribe button below the video, and there's a bell next to it. Click that also to make sure that you get notified when my new videos come out every week. All right? Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.